Hello everyone and welcome back to Steel Division 2. Today in our first tutorial series of deployment. I've made previous deployment tutorial before, but I think today we'll do an actual series. We're gonna go with every single 1v1 map, and I'm just going to tell you how to deploy. There is a lot of new players. There will be a lot of newer players as well soon because of the DLC and patch coming up that's going to change a lot of stuff. So I want to make sure you guys don't go into battle and get utterly destroyed in the first 5 minutes. Well, in the first 2 minutes at least. After that is up to you. So what I'm going to do is I created the deck that is just for deployment. So there's nothing else that you would need for following up on the game. This is strictly deployment. So and it's going to be for all maps. If you want to check the previous one, I already did. There is a tutorial playlist I have. It's old, so there's that to keep in mind, and is the reason why I redo that. But I do have some deployment stuff and a lot of tutorial. You can check this out. But for now, here's what you need to know about deployment. What you're going to need is a lot of fast troops. I see a lot of newer players, they don't know that. They'll move their units, they'll not follow the roads. Steel Division 2 is a game of road and support weapon, in my opinion. Well, the road is a fact. You need to control the roads, you need to control those flags, and you need to have a lot of support unit to actually support your infantry. So the infantry will be your main troops where you will capture and hold the flags, but the support weapon is what's going to keep your infantry alive. So if you got just, 2 infantry in these forests, they're going to get pummeled by everything, because good players are going to have a lot of support weapon. There'll be machine gun, there'll be anti-tank guns with HE shells, there'll be anti-air units, there'll be a lot of stuff. But if you have 2 infantry unit around here, and you have a machine gun there, a machine gun here, you have an HE, you have a IG-18 over here, you got another machine gun with another IG-18 with an anti-tank here, and an anti-tank here, and some AA around here, here, and here, and maybe you got another machine gun here, or maybe you got a recon tank around here, then you know what? The enemy is not going to shoot your infantry first. It's going to try to shoot at everything else that's going to impede their advance into you. So that is lesson number 1. So in order to create your deck, you're going to need to create your deployment first. And this means in the recon tab, you want some cheap recon. Always go for what costs the less, and that is valid for every single tab to the best of your ability. So here in this 20th, I selected 20th Panzer because it is one of the best decks you can start as a new player, in my opinion. 15 points of Clara, and they come with Schwim transport trucks. These guys can go into the water, and they go at 80 kilometers an hour. You always want to look at the road speed of these vehicles, and you want to select the right one. So we're going to take these guys. Keep in mind that with recon, the better the veterancy, the better you'll be able to see hidden units. So that's something to remember. Now for this map in particular, this is Bobr. You'll want to put either a recon in this church, or a recon in this house, or maybe in this house, or that windmill. Try to look, at best, try to look for higher places. So windmill and churches are your go-to. Now we're going to skip the church for this one, and we're going to put that guy in the windmill here. And you'll be able to see everything that's going on there. So you want to do that. Then, sorry, I got something in my throat. Then you want to bring a machine gun. Again, the machine gun comes with the Horch 108. That's a really good vehicle. It goes at 90 kilometers road speed. So you absolutely want to take this. And you always want to take a machine gun with an IG-18 combo, or the equivalent if you're playing the Soviet. So the Soviet, they have whatever it's called. So you'll take a machine gun IG-18 combo Why? Because the IG-18 can kill tanks, first of all. It has heat rounds. It can provide HE support at 1500 range. And the machine gun can suppress the enemy pretty quick at 1250 range. And they're pretty cheap. They're 35 points each. So cheap, fast, efficient is what you want. We, in this example, will put the machine gun right here. It's going to be able to shoot at people in these houses. It's going to be able to shoot at people. If the enemy goes hard in this road, it's going to be able to go over here. And then we're going to take the IG-18. And what I like to do is I like to put it around here. I do that. And I also take an anti-tank gun. Now, this one is expensive, but it's a very, very good one. And I'll put the anti-tank gun, you know, around here as well. So that gives me a machine gun, a HE, and an AT that will all protect this place. And why you want to protect this place is very important. Most opponents are not going to attack here. Now, it happens, so, you know, be ready for that. But most will not do that. They'll go here on this side of the map anyway. If they do attack somewhere, it's usually going to be here because it gives them a good place to attack. They got, you know, houses here they can be in. They got a forest here that covers their advance. They got a lot of houses here. They can cross the river. They can go into the bridge. And because there's a lot of houses around here, your view will be impeded from attacking them from all angles. Whereas if they do attack here, you can attack them from defensive position all over the place. So attacking here is a risk move. Most people will not put a lot of defensive here. So it is something you will see happen, and your opponent will count on you having almost nothing to defend here in order to attack. But here's the advantage in having these guys here. You can defend where the enemy will most likely attack. And if the enemy do come here, all you need to do, well, you keep the machine gun here, but all you need to do is move that little guy here and move that AT here. And then bingo, you can protect this here while you call in reinforcement to come land in these forests and shoot from afar. So this, for me, is a winner combination. You might want to put, if you got a lot of machine gun, you might want to put a machine gun here as well. This is a very good area. But it often get pummeled by enemy. Like the enemy will most probably have HE weapon here or a AT gun. They'll probably have some snipers and machine gun around here. They'll have maybe 2K range weapon around these parts here to shoot at you. So, you know, this is a good place to put a machine gun. We can put one in this example. And this is really golden, but just be prepared that you might lose this machine gun. You might instead want to put a small AT, you know, maybe around here, or maybe hiding in the house, something like that. So this would be the deployment on this side. Now on this middle here, you'd want some infantry. So you're going to take infantry that has Panzerfaust or any type of bazooka or AT weapon long range. And at least put 3 of these guys. Now, you're going to select them. You select them, you press tab. This will select them one by one. So tab, and then you'll select your unload at position button, which for me is Z. So I'll put unload at position. And if you press an Alt C, you'll be able to see the line of sight. So I'll put an infantry here. I'll press tab, Z. I'll put an infantry here, tab, Z, and I'll put one right here. I don't want to go over here because there's a chance that the enemy will have flamethrowers going at an exceptional speed, 90 kilometers an hour. Some division even have 115 kilometers an hour units. And these guys will absolutely get there before you. So you have to be careful of that. I will put 1 flamers, and I will put these flamers around here. Now, what else do we need around here? We will need cheap tanks. The Panzer III L at 40 points is always a good thing. You're going to put it on quick hunt, and you're going to put it, you know, in this house. Just make sure you micro it, because when it arrives over here, it might just stop somewhere outside of where you told him to go. So you need to take him and manually tell him to go into the house. And why you want him into the house is because once a tank, or any unit for that matter, once it is inside a backyard, it is considered that they've hidden themselves. Maybe he's peeking around the corner here. Maybe he's hidden his tank in the hay over here. The game doesn't show it, but it simulates the unit finding cover and hiding. So it gives him a defensive bonus. This is why you don't want to have him out in the open. You want him in the backyard. And this is a good position here because it has a view on everything over here. And you want to take out every APCR unit. You want to take out the APCR as soon as the game starts. You can't do it right away, but as soon as the game starts, go over all your APCR unit and remove the APCR. APCR should only be used when you want it to be used, when it's needed. When is that? It's when the AP shells cannot penetrate the enemy. Then you activate the APCR. APCR 150 mil, AP 100 mil in this example. All right, then you'd probably want a machine gun here. This is a house you want to have at least one unit in here to shoot at incoming people. If they do come with tanks, and you do have 2K range unit, you might want to put one here to shoot at anything incoming here. In this case, we could put a grill around here, but beware because this thing's not going to kill tanks. We might want to put a Pack 40, but in the opening deployment, I don't think you should put anything around here. Just put a machine gun. More than half the time, the enemy will never attack here. So one machine gun you got is covered. In this example, we're not actually going to put our machine gun there. Where did I put it? Right here. Because we're going to run out of machine gun. I'm instead going to put just a flamer unit, just to keep an eye on things going on here. And then we're going to be coming here. We're going to be hiding in this house. I'm going to put one flamer unit. There you go. Over here, we're going to put the remaining of our machine guns and IG-18. So you select them all. You press tab to select each individual unit. So here we got the machine gun 42. We're going to be sitting right around here. Might as well put it like this so it has a view of everything. We're going to take another machine gun 42. We're going to put it here in green cover so it can shoot at 80 guns. The enemy will put units around here. He will, for sure. There's going to be machine gun, 80 guns. There might be some heavy tanks, things like that. You want at least a machine gun to keep an eye on stuff. Then you got the IG-18. You'll want probably one around here to support that machine gun. You'll want one around here, again, to support the machine gun. And, well, that's an extra IG-18. You put it here. There you go. Now, these troops are fast, but they're not CQC units. So, this is an area that the enemy will most often always attack. So you want to make sure you got CQC unit because the enemy will come down this road as fast as he can with as much unit as he can. And this is a good, stopgap. It will either start shooting or it will, these guys will start shooting over here at support units. But you'll need something to protect these units from being CQC'd to death. And this is where the flamer comes in. So you'll want one flamer here, one flamer here, one flamer here, and maybe another flamer here. You want to space them out a little because if the enemy starts shooting mortars or if they have bombers, you don't want them to all die in the same area. And then you'll also take a Panzer III because it's cheap. So you'll put this guy here. Don't forget to turn off the APCR. And then you got 115 extra income. This is your defense right here. There's a lot of things you could do now. You can decide where you want the most defensive. So this is not protected that much. It has the necessary, but it's not that much protected. You could put some Storm Pioneers in here, some more Grenadier DP. You could put a leader around here. You could put a grillet around here for extra defense if you think this is in big danger. There's a lot of, you could put a whole lot more units around here. You could do your own attack around here. Most often you will reach this area before the enemy. So, but what happens, usually I got the Stas troop in the Horse 108 trucks, but we don't have it anymore. We've used them all for these guys. So what I'm going to do personally is I'm going to take the Stas troop because they're really cheap. They got they got 5 submachine gun and 2 flamers through cocktail Molotov. So I'll put these guys with a pioneer and a stump pioneers, and this will be an attack party, and they will be coming where there's the least resistance possible from the enemy here. So I'll bring them here, and then they'll cross around here, and they will be capturing this forest. Okay, now what does that do? Because there's no flag here, if you notice. There's no flag here. But the enemy will feel pressed to defend that forest if you capture it all. Because, you know, there's a road here. And if he cannot use that road to capture this flag, if you control that road, then you can go and control that flag. So this is very important. And by attacking somewhere, I dictate the battle. I am the one in charge. You always want to be in charge in Steel Division 2. You never want to let the enemy take control, because then the burden of surviving is on the opponent. So this will be the deployment for this side. If you are on this side, unfortunately, I can't. I wish there were a training program in Steel Division 2 where you could just switch side and redo. But if I were here, I'd put a machine gun around here. I'd put a flamer around here. Because sometimes the enemy will attack from here. Rare. I gotta give it to you. It's rare, but it does happen. So just light defenses around here. You want to put a machine gun here. You want to put an AT tank around here. You'll have to put it outside the forest, because in the forest... Oh, never mind. Just on the edge. Usually I put it here to start with. And if there's no attack, then I'll put it just a little bit there. You can put an AT gun around here too, or a machine gun. The enemy will often try to capture this little bit of forest. They might even try to go for these houses. Over here, almost never an attack, so you don't have to put much. Maybe an AT gun around here with a machine gun, or a flamer unit around here with an AT gun will be just fine. Over here, there's almost never an attack. I wouldn't put anything there. I would unload around here, because the enemy will most likely come here. And I personally, I always attack here. I often do. So you want, and I'll go with fast units, and it's gonna take you a while to get here from either this direction or this direction. See you coming in from here and here. So you got a long road to do. The enemy has less. So he'll get there before you with flamers, recon unit, things like that. So you want to probably unload AT around here. You want infantry here, and then you move slowly and you clean house to make sure. You want to get some CQC unit in that forest too to make sure you protect it. And probably you want to attack here. This is a really good place to attack. You'll come in here like that. You'll unload around here. HE units like the IG-18 could go right over here. Over here it has a view on the middle of the road. You can see with the line of sight tool where exactly. And it can shoot at any support unit. So maybe one IG-18 here, another IG-18 here, a machine gun here, and then you have a lot of recon vehicles or infantry, and you rush them through this road, and you unload all around this sector, and then you attack here, you attack here, you attack here, you attack here. You just, try to get this hill. Once you got this hill, you can bring some AT guns, powerful AT guns, powerful HE device. So, pack 40 with some grillet, and you take control of that road. And that's going to give you the advantage of, that's going to give the enemy the burden of surviving rather than you having to survive. Or you can attack here as well, and you can unload around here, shoot at everything, and try to make your way. So this would be how I would do the red side deployment. let's put one unit over here. This is what it's going to look like. Now you're going to take your Panzer tree. You're going to remove the APCR right away. Now you always want to try to, you know, don't stay focused on one unit, even though they are beautiful to look at. Just, you know, relax. Think about your next move, where you're going to do next. What are you going to call in? Get familiar with your tabs, you know, what you got. You're like, okay, well, I have 3 more infantry with Panzerfaust. I got 6 more infantry with the double DP machine gun. I got more leaders if I need to. I only got 1 Stas troop in reinforcement, but I do have 6 flamers in reinforcement. So if things go bad around here, I'll be able to call in some reinforcement. If things go bad around here, I'll be able to call the Panzer Grenadier. I always have Panzer trees. Nothing happened so far, so I'm going to call in some anti-air unit. And now what's going to be... Oh, and look. Press pause. See what your IG-18s are doing here? They actually went out over here, and they're coming. So this is something you want to check. You want to verify before they get there. Because if this would have been any competent player instead of the AI... there would be some units around here right now, and they would have destroyed these IG-18. So when you see that, you take your unit, you go into unload position, and you unload it maybe here. And then you got to remember to tell them to attack over here after they've unloaded. So that is something to verify. Now we do have some airplanes. You can start with a recon if you want to see where the enemy is going. Nothing serious is happening right now, and we're coming into another 110 points. So personally, what I like to do is call in anti-air. It's not the best tactic around to call in anti-air early like that. Some people think it's a waste, and you know, they could be right. But I like to make sure I'm protected from the air. Because what happens when you have a lot of support units like that is the enemy will call in some fighter bombers and they will start shooting at you. So you want to make sure this is covered. So everything so far so good. When you pick up this group of people, tell them to attack there. You see that one in the front? That's the leader. The AI will always put the leader first. So you need to manually tell the leader to come behind. And then you want to separate these guys as much as possible. Because then again, if a bomber comes in, they'll kill them all. And that is it. And now, of course, it's the AI, so we're not doing a lot of... there's nothing impressive here, but this is how you want to do your deployment. And then you go as the game goes. I hope this is going to help you guys. If you want to join a clan that helps noobs get better, join my clan. Ask in the comment, and or you can take a look at the description. There's my Discord there. You can join us, and we'll help you get better. What else? Nothing. Subscribe and then like the content if you did like it. All right, guys. Good luck in your battle. I'll see you in the field. Goodbye.